can treat sciatica. Sciatica is when you have inflammation and you have pain in your sciatic nerve. Your sciatic nerve runs out from the back, goes down your hip, and all the way down your leg. This sciatic pain can happen from a traumatic injury, such as a slip and fall, or a car accident. It can also be something as minor as your piriformis muscle. Your piriformis muscle attaches on the side of the hip. It's on your femur, so in that greater trochanter, and it travels all the way back and it attaches to your sacrum. So right at the bottom of your spine. Whenever you get sciatica, that pain it's painful. It can feel as if you're having some numbness, like your leg is asleep, like you have to shake your legs out, or you have to stomp your foot. You can get numbness in the calf. You can get numbness in the back of your thigh. You can also get it in the big toe. It can also, instead of being numbness, it can be pain. You can get that radiation, which is just that shooting feeling of pain down your leg. If the piriformis is the culprit, a lot of times proper stretching can really help. So your sciatic nerve either runs underneath or it runs through your piriformis muscle. A lot of times, which we don't know, we don't know our genetic makeup, but a lot of times when the sciatic nerve runs through the piriformis muscle, it pinches down. So if you get a tight piriformis muscle, which is common, or you get an injury that causes some inflammation, then it can lead to that piriformis syndrome, which in turn causes the sciatica. So a great stretch, which you can do this on your back or you can do it in seated. You can cross that leg over and push down on that knee. So a good stretch, we know, needs to be 30 to 60 seconds. And if you do the stretch on the one side, you always want to do it on that opposite side. If it's an injury and if it's a traumatic injury and you're having pain, numbness, the feeling of any weakness in your leg, your knee buckling, or if you have any bowel and bladder issues, that's something you need to be seen by the doctor for. If you're trying to rehab things at home, even if you have herniated a disc, a lot of times they'll scar over and you can heal from that. So we're just talking about things that you can do at home. Of course, ice is a good option. Stretching is a good option. Another great stretch for the low back and to relieve that pressure is by lying on the back, pulling the knees into the chest, hips up slightly, and again, just holding. From this position, you could go into another stretch. For both sides, you just drop the feet. You can take your arms to either side and let your knees fall to one side. And then after that, hold 30 to 60 seconds. We can switch to the opposite side and again holding. So something else that can cause sciatic pain with that numbness, tingling down your leg, which is something that I have, and that is a sacroiliac or SI dysfunction. And that is where your big hip bones meet. So I always try to make my own little pelvis with my hands. I take the front for the pubic symphysis, down at the groin, and then where it comes around that ilium, meets that low back at that sacrum. So if you have your pelvis, it can move outward, it can move upward, it can rotate backwards, all different directions. For this kind of an issue, physical therapy or chiropractic care is extremely beneficial. So if you're trying to rehab things at home, trying to address things at home, not really getting much relief, that is a great option. Because if you have, think about your knuckle. If you have like kind of a kink and you have that feeling in your knuckle, you crack your knuckle, you get a little bit of a release. The same thing with that back. And a lot of times people don't really think that's a joint, but if it wasn't a joint, we wouldn't have babies out there. Women would not be able to separate those hips to have a baby. So very commonly for females, after they've given birth, they have issues with that sacroiliac joint. Also, if let's say you're a man and you, like my dad, rode to work, he would drive 45 minutes to work, 45 minutes from work, and he would sit on an inch thick wallet on his backside. And as you can see, if I'd stick a wallet underneath, it throws off the pelvis. It's not the 1 week or the 1 year of doing that, it's that repetition that causes that issue. So do you ever find yourself standing like this, kind of a hip thrown out to the side or the other side? This is really not the way to stand for that pelvis. So for the piriformis muscle, it's going to allow one to get short, one to get lengthened, and it throws those hips out of whack. And then that can lead to sciatic pain or that sacroiliac dysfunction. Another thing is this right here, crossing your legs. You can see already that my pelvis is up on the right hand side and the left. And like I discussed about my dad, having that hip elevated, sitting on that wallet, this is not the best position. So then everything becomes imbalanced. Another thing is if you are sleeping and you sleep, let's say without a pillow, your neck is going to fall down to the side and you can see where my knees are. You need a pillow high enough so that you're being held from that shoulder up. And then also, we don't want this knee falling here. And it doesn't really help if you just have something here in between the thighs and those knees still fall. You need a pillow from the groin all the way to the ankles to hold you in a normal position. So if I'm standing, if you think about it, and I'm not saying we all do, but we all should have 8 hours of sleep a night. That is 1/3 of your day. So if you stand, if I stand in a good position, my feet are separated about shoulder width apart. My head is right in the middle between these shoulders. But if I'm lying down sleeping and I have my head kinked this way and my legs this way, you can see where that would hurt my positioning, hurt my posture, and again, that's 1/3 of your day. So I hope all of this is beneficial to you. But again, I do want to reiterate, if you have any muscle weakness, any buckling in your joints, if it was a traumatic injury, a fall, and if you have any issues with bowel and bladder, you should definitely see your physician for a workup. Have a great day.